Hey beer fans, I'm Steve Jaguar. This is a BeerNative beer review. In this beer review, I am going to be reviewing Beavertown's Lupuloid. It's right back here in my beer fridge. Come with me. Hey Chewy, how are you doing? Good. Nice and cold, fresh out of the fridge. Let's take a look at the can. Beautiful art though, right? You've got kind of this mutant hop thing looking at you there, kind of freaky. All of Beavertown's art is always really good, so you're always going to give a good score on the effort they put into packaging. I even check out the pull tab, attention to detail on a green pull tab. Like, I love that. Maybe like there's a creative artist side in me that makes me want to really appreciate that. So I'm gonna give it an 8 on packaging. 4 for actually the attention to detail of the physical packaging, and also 4 for the artwork. So, oh, somebody's beeping me. Lively, a little bit of foam. That gives me an excuse to have a little sip out of the can, like I always do. Because you know the can kind of masks some of the real floral notes that we want to get up in our nozzles, and yeah, it's kind of got a rubbery, like out of the can, it was a little bit rubbery. You know what I mean by that? I watched this sommelier, I think it's called Somm, where one of the sommeliers described a particular wine as being opening a can of tennis balls, and I laughed, right? I thought, yeah, right. And then I thought, that does have a smell, and that rubbery thing is there. The obvious bitterness is there. So let's talk a little bit about the name before I get into pouring this into the glass, or I could do it at the same time. Here's my glass sitting right there. Give that a little pour. So Lupuloid by Beavertown. Beavertown's in London, even though you'd think it would be in Beavertown. And Lupuloid is probably a reference. So check out my What Makes Beer Great Hops and Alpha Acids video, and I'll link to it up there. The lupulin gland in the hop is where all the little resins and oils have a little bit of adult hugs and kisses and canoodling, and where all the good alpha acids, where all the aromas and the flavors and all the bittering agents, they all live there. So if you look at this one and think, okay, this was a product of experimentation that eventually settled on a 6.7% beer called Lupuloid, it makes you wonder if they maybe used a cryo hop on it or something that isolates that, and they've decided that this is going to be a heavily hopped, delicious IPA. So there's the color. Looks awesome, right? Very slim head. It's actually a pretty cold beer, maybe a little too cold, but I'll turn my fridge down. Now, my normal glass, which is like a cone, you probably see it back there, is a bit filthy because I forgot to wash it. I don't like drinking it out of a wine glass because the way it scoops around, I don't get the aroma as much. So it's super hoppy. It's not that fruity. I'll give you that. So it's got a strong bitterness, a bit of white grapefruit again. And I think that it's got a bit of a punch in the brain, you know, like that's a bit stark, kind of a bit of a knitting needle up the nostril, but it's very good. The alcohol level's apparent, let's say. It's a 6.7. We'll pop them side by side. You can take a look. But on flavor, I think the danger with the flavor in a 6.7 on something like this is that it's not lingering. It's a nice sharp bitter that goes away quickly. So the danger here would be that if I had 2 of these, which I do, I would throw this back and think it would be like a very short wine, and I would want to get another one. It doesn't last long enough that makes me want to just sit and really savor it. But it's still really good. So I'm going to go with an 8 again on flavor, which is awesome. Is it accurate? Actually, well, I mean, what was my expectation, right? Beavertown doesn't talk about what hops are involved. I don't know what malts were involved. Wasn't really able to establish much of an expectation on it, but it is an IPA. It's a little high on the alcohol for an IPA. It is a Lupuloid, which did indicate in advance that it was going to have a real hoppy, bitter punch, and it definitely does. So in terms of accuracy, yeah, I mean, it nailed it. It's another 4. And if I were to go with uniqueness, I think it's pretty awesome, both in terms of unique packaging, attention to detail on the pull tab, attention to detail on, it's an IPA, it's an experimental, and it lands and it focuses directly on hard bitterness and hard alcohol. So it has definitely hit the nail on the head with that. So I'm going to give it I'm giving 4s all the way across the board, which makes it really easy from an Untappd score, because that means it's going to be a 4. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a 5 on accuracy, which is going to give me a 4.25 on Untappd. Boom. Not too bad. So thanks for watching. This has been a quick beer review of Beavertown's Lupuloid IPA. Beautiful piece of work. BeerNative, thanks for watching.